What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe. Do all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops or drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Also, share this out as well. We're inching closer to 1.4K subscribers. Would appreciate if more people came to the channel. Hit the like button. Do all the good stuff. But we appreciate your guys' support, whether it's for 2 months, 2 years, 2 seconds. We appreciate it, and you guys are a part of this as much as me, John, and Luca are behind the scenes and whatnot. So, with that being said, another roster bubble video today. In these types of videos that take 5 to 10 minutes long, I take a player that's on the cusp of being cut. I talk about their background. I talk about their competition. I talk about how they could win a spot on the roster. I talk about how they could lose a spot on the roster. But with that being said, let's go into today's candidate. Is Jeff Smith. 26-year-old Jeff Smith was an undrafted free agent with the New York Jets. Signed with the New York Jets, I should say. Came out of Boston College in 2019. He's 6'1", 195 pounds. Spent a few seasons with them. His last season was 2022, and then signed with the New York Giants in 2023 on a one-year deal. Most of his production came in 2020 with Adam Gase, and that kind of actually tells you something because, well, I mean, the Jets had their second worst season in franchise history that year, so the receiver depth was bad, the overall team was bad, and that's why Jeff Smith was getting receptions. Not that I'm trying to rip on Jeff Smith, it's just the type of player he is. Little sneak peek for you guys, he's a special teams player. He's not much of a receiver, despite that being his main on-the-field position. So 2019, in a total of one game, one reception for 12 yards. The following year, once again, where he got most of his burn. 12 games, 4 starts, 17 receptions for 167 yards. Then 2021, 8 receptions for 113 yards in 12 games. And then 11 games in 2022, 8 receptions, 134 yards. So a total of 426 yards in his career. He still has yet to get a touchdown. In terms of special teams, that's, of course, once again, where he gets most of his burn. And in terms of his snap percentages for offense and special teams, it's not that high considering, well, obviously he's not on the field too much. He doesn't really have those type of assets to be on the field, 60% of the snaps or all these different things. But his rookie year, he got 14% snaps on special teams for the one game he played in, 24% for the one game he played in on offense, 37 total snaps on special teams in 2020, 318 offensive snaps, 2021, 218 offensive snaps, and 60 special team snaps, and then 2020, 241 snaps on offense, 86 snaps on special teams. And then again, too, special teams is not continuous like offenses. It's not, you could get a first down on special teams. I mean, yes, but realistically, no. But anyway, what is his competition looking like? Khalil Pimpleton, who is a slot receiver, also a punt returner as well. Jeff Smith does not offer that capability. He's more of just a gunner overall, but he is competing in the wide receiver room. Jaden Mickens, who is a kick returner, punt returner, and a wide receiver. Once again, the only thing they have in common is wide receiver. David Sills, not much special teams capability. Again, in the wide receiver room. Colin Johnson, some special teams capability. Bryce Ford Wheaton, the undrafted free agent out of West Virginia. And Cole Beasley, who the Giants signed off the street a few days ago. Former Bill, former Cowboy, former Buck. So how can he win? It's mostly going to be on special teams. It's mostly going to be that way. Make returners' lives a living hell, and contract penalties from the opposition. He plays the role of gunner. So he's going to get either one guy or two guys in front of him that are jamming him. That's the position that's a jammer. Make their lives a living hell. Make the returners' lives a living hell. And I don't think that I would ever talk so much special teams in one video, but this is the type of stuff Jeff Smith needs to do to make a roster spot. For the New York Football Giants. Contract a holding penalty. Contract a legal block in the back. Apparently, he ran like 4.4 speed in 2019 2019-ish when he came out and stuff, was doing his combine and his pro day. So does he still have that speed? I mean, obviously as a receiver, it's not a valued asset for him because he's not that type of receiver. He's not a Tyreek Hill. He's not, that type of guy, talent-wise. But on special teams, that could be used, making returners' lives a living hell. It is surprising, though, he's only had one tackle in his career. So maybe he gets that up with the New York Giants, Thomas McGahee, and Mike Adams being the coordinators. But also show value as a receiver if the situation calls for it. I don't know how many snaps he's going to play with the second team. That's who he's been mostly with, Tyrod Taylor in the second team. A little bit of the third team with Tommy DeVito. But, if a pass gets thrown to you, catch it. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, but, in the situation that calls for it, pass is thrown to you, catch it, just do your regular things as a wide receiver. Once again, that's simpleton-type answers I'm giving you guys right now, but he's mostly a special teamer. He's not going to make it as a wide receiver only. How can he lose? Speed isn't there as a gunner and no value as a depth receiver. The first one would really kill him in terms of not being speedy enough as a gunner, because the Giants need valuable special teams players. I mean, they've had Cam Brown for a few years. They've had Carter Coughlin for a few years who, those guys play different positions on special teams. But the Giants really haven't had good gunners in a few years. Antonio Hamilton was a pretty good gunner. Cody Core was a pretty good gunner during the Gettleman era. They really haven't had great gunners. And their special teams unit has been garbage the last few years. So they need these type of guys. If Jeff Smith is the special teams player that we all think he is, maybe he shows us that we're wrong about him and he's not a good special teams player, whatever the case may be. But I think his main track to the team is special teams. But if he doesn't provide value as a depth receiver, then it's going to be tough for him to make any team, any practice squad, because obviously you need to do the basic shit correctly, catching a pass, not dropping, having solid routes in terms of route running and all that sort of stuff. So once again, how can he win? Make returners' lives a living hell, contract penalties, holding, illegal block in the back from the jammers on special teams, shows solid value as a receiver if the situation calls for it. How can he lose? Speed isn't there as a gunner, no value as a depth receiver. My prediction, I have him getting cut. I think he could make the Giants practice squad and be one of those 55-man roster elevations, like a day or two before the game is played. They'll get to protect a couple of guys and then call up two guys from the practice squad. I think the Giants could do that with Jeff Smith if he impresses them enough. I think what the Giants' main traction, or at least main obligation for the receiver room, is just get as much depth as possible. And compared to the other guys in there, I mean, I would take Cole Beasley over Jeff Smith, though he's a slot receiver. I probably would take David Sills over Jeff Smith because Daniel Jones has a rapport with him. And, David Sills doesn't offer special teams capabilities like Jeff Smith does, but Jeff Smith does not offer, any, if at all, wide receiver capabilities, as much as David Sills has gotten burned and Colin Johnson, all these different guys. But I have him getting cut. We'll see what happens. Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops your drops. Appreciate you guys coming back for another video, doing one of these every day till probably the first few weeks of August, and then likely a roster prediction after that. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.